Hey everybody, this is Bugsy, and I had this whole spiel with the Ian Flynn fans and how they feel about all of us and how they don't like us taking umbrage with freaking Ian Flynn. But listen, folks, y'all may like him, but people have their own reasons for not liking him. Y'all can sit there and not listen, put your fingers in your ears or whatever. But people have the right to say what they want about a guy that they don't like. Okay? Because the problem with people today is they just don't know how to accept criticism of any kind. They're always so mad, they're always so angry, and they never think, well, hey, maybe I should apply what people are trying to say. Hell, I know a few big name YouTubers that can't deal with criticism so bad. They start turning on the people that they care about just because they can't deal with it. Now listen, y'all may love Ian Flynn, y'all may worship the ground he walks on, y'all may think he's the second coming of head dog riding Jesus. But we have seen some shit go down. And I'm not saying that every Ian Flynn fan is all part it has mob mentality on them. Far from it. If you're a cool Ian Flynn fan who doesn't want to start no shit, good. That's good. That shows that you actually will let someone talk instead of screeching at the top of your lungs like a banshee. And not naming names in particular, And no, not because I'm a coward. Because I don't want people to witch hunt nobody. Because folks, that means I'm the one being kind of smart. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm being responsible. But let us commence. Now, here we go. Everybody, Ian Flynn fans, go. I am not forcing you to watch this. This is your last chance. I'll give you a few seconds. Get, pause the video, and if you don't take these seconds to either click off the video, well, I warned you. If you're still here, prepare. Prepare.
But pesky old Sega keeps holding him back. Yeah, about that. Those mandates never actually existed. The mandates that you see on forums, they never existed. I already found it suspicious enough that the only place where I could find them, at least the earliest place that I could find them, was the Bumble King forums. And the fact that Flynn was also the one who was spreading them around. But, I hate to tell it to you all, but the mandates do not exist. They never existed. Now you're probably saying, well, where's the proof? And I say, here it is.
And I'm just gonna say, when I made the first video, which was last night, I didn't send it because let's just say it boiled to me just being it boiled to me being like really really angry. So I just kind of deleted that video before even thinking about freaking uploading it. And I'm a little bit more calm, but I am a little angry.
Now, initially, I wanted to keep this one secret, so
But
you
it's an
wanted to be
anger
anonymous,
that I
but at
can
this point,
control.
I can pretty much just leak these with no consequences whatsoever. So Richard Kuda tried to revive his whole SATAM movie project, and of course, some of the things that he said were very interesting, and I'll leave some of the screenshots up on the screen so you can scroll through them.
Okay. Basically Sega of America really doesn't care about anything SATAM, Sonic Underground, Boom. Right now, all they're focusing on is the games, and that sucks because again, even if even if you guys don't like it, I feel like I feel like it's one of the many reasons that people really started to get into Sonic because back in the day, and I don't care what Channel Pup or any motherfucker that has anything against freaking Archie or Sunny M. For a lot of us, that gave Sonic way more character than the games ever really gave him. And I've always said this. I've always said this is why I like Sunny M. This is why I like Archie. Because Sonic has more of a character. Back in the day, Sonic didn't really have much of anything. He was a silent protagonist. He really didn't speak. And, that was cool. But when I basically played, when I got into the Archie books, I think that was during like Sonic Lost World. Probably even before that. I can't even remember. But I got into it because a man named Sonic Comic World, who basically left YouTube for mysterious reasons, um, showed me the Archie comics. Now I knew a few characters from the Archie comics, Scourge and a few other people. Scourge is the one character that always kind of stuck out to me because I always wanted to know who Scourge really was. He looked a lot like Sonic, but kinda darker. But not like Shadow, but like an actual mirror evil duplicate. Like I'm talking like old Star Trek kind of mirror duplicate, or I'm talking like Bizarro Superman almost. Without the opposite, about just saying the opposite of what he does. You know, I liked it because Sonic, when we are getting into modern Sonic and stuff, Sonic showed less and less of his personality because of Pontiac and Graf constantly just making him into a joke. And for Sonic Colors, that was fine. That was fine. Everything was getting serious. Everything got like serious, and even even Unleash had serious moments. So Colors being something a little lighter made sense. Now, now. Now, I don't like the way Sonic has been portrayed because the comics and SatAM has shown me that Sonic can be way more than what he is. Regardless of how some of you feel, I love the fact that Sonic is able to show emotions. He's able to lose. He's not a character that constantly has to win because the story demands it. Sonic loses and becomes stronger because of it. He learns something from it and tries harder the next time. When Robotnik took over like half of, like mostly all of Mobius, he never gave up. Even when there was times where he could have gave up. And that speaks to me because there are a lot of times where there's a lot of times where I felt during my YouTube journey that I should give up. That I should just pack it in. But I never did, you know? And that's why Sonic was relatable in that aspect. Because even when shit got hard, he never gave up. Game Sonic? Game Sonic doesn't even know the meaning of the word. The only bit of emotion we've ever seen Game Sonic even show was Sonic Lost World, and that was shifting in the tone so much. It wanted to be light, it wanted to be happy, then it wanted to be all dark and shit. It didn't know what it wanted to be. And that's why I kind of like I will play Sonic Lost World. I actually like it. I'm probably the one out of many. I'm probably the rare few that actually likes playing Sonic Lost World and don't think don't think of it as a horrid abomination, or don't think that 3D Sonic was a mistake. Because no, there's a lot of good stuff in 3D Sonic's catalog. Some people, some people just get swayed. Some people, I feel, get swayed by other people's opinions. Like some people don't even have thoughts of their own. It's easier for them to follow the pack than be an individual and think your own fucking thoughts. Like I hate when people start grand slamming Sonic because of the Game Grumps. It really made me paint the Game Grumps in a very negative light back in the day. And sure, you can be like, well, Bugsy, they were just joking around. Yeah, but people took it seriously. People took that shit seriously. Even if Aaron was just trolling on us Sonic fans, he took it seriously. I mean, they took it seriously and made the Sonic fandom even worse because we got a whole bunch of people dunking on Sonic Adventure who've never played the game but saw Aaron and Danny play it, and therefore, because they played it, that must mean it's bad. That's why I hate the mindset of people saying, "Oh, I could just watch a game and not play it and pass my judgment on it." No, because to me, if you really want to judge Sonic, if you really want to judge Sonic Adventure, you had to play it. Okay, there's no other way to say it. There's no other way going around it either. You have to freaking play the game. That's all. That's what I gotta say to you. Now, now, for the rest of you Ian Flynn fans who are probably still around, probably getting ready to make your gigantic hate, gigantic hate comment. Let me explain something to you. We all have our reasons of not liking something or a person, even if y'all don't agree to it. People have their reasons, whether you like it or not. Because that's what makes the world go round, folks. The fact that we all have different opinions, different things that move us, makes makes us want to talk about things, do things. You know, you guys. I'm not saying it's wrong for y'all to. I'm not saying it's wrong for you guys to love Ian Flynn. If you love him, cool. Wish I could. Wish I could be the same way like y'all again, but I can't because I know that I know. You know, and the fact that I know the stuff that Ian's done, I can't really just back away from it. That's not what I'm about. And y'all can just say, "Well, Bugsy, it's just conjecture. You're just following with this man and what he's saying." No. After the video initially and when I saw it, I actually looked in on it. I actually looked in on everything else, and my findings were the same as his. So for all you guys who just like think that I'm following the path, no, because I actually do my research. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow this person no matter what. No, I look into it because that's what a person like me does. If he doesn't want to look like he's if he doesn't want to look like he's got his proverbial hand in the cookie jar, or his dick in his hand, he he fucking does the research because that is what I do. I pride myself on the truth more than I do just following somebody. And yeah, I did that with perfection. But that's only because I thought I could trust that motherfucker, and I don't anymore. I went back to the old ways of doing things. Being a re- being a dude that collects information, being a dude that finds the information, looks at it, and from there makes my own conclusion. And I gotta say, from Mr. Lance Jerkoff, he basically did what I did. And of course, not talking to Rich Monk because y'all know how I feel about Richard Kuda. I ain't even gonna sit here and tell you why I feel like I feel a certain kind of way with that dude, and y'all know. But the point I'm getting at is that Ian Flynn is not a perfect person. He would throw y'all under the bus if y'all were against him, even in the slightest. He would kick you off the Bumble King forums if it meant that he was never questioned. His whole freaking forum is all like no harsh criticism. Criticism will always be harsh. There's no way around it. You can't be nice about it sometimes. If you really want to tell somebody how you feel about their product and what they're working on, sometimes you're going to get a little harsh. You're gonna hurt their feelings. It's just how the name of the game works. As long as you're not going out of your way to be a dick and you're really just going from your heart, there ain't nothing to really worry about. But Ian doesn't understand that. He a grown ass man who brought all you guys to his little freaking fight, taking everybody down who disagrees with them. And to me, that's not being a man. That is being a child. That is being a child who doesn't want to deal with any of the stuff because he's a writer and his position is something that some of the Sonic fans would fucking kill for. Would do all this stuff just to get a spot to write a Sonic comic. Me included. And he's using his position is swayed over you guys to do whatever the fuck he wants. And that's not cool. That's not what a grown man does. It's so fucking unprofessional, but Ian doesn't care because he knows that IDW will keep him around because IDW and him have the same fucking goals. So he knows he's safe. And as long as you guys keep saying, "Oh, you're okay," these people are just being mean. You're just fluffing his fucking ego. And whether you all like to see it or not, you're encouraging your fellow fans to do the same because none of you want to actually think, and that's not cool. That's not cool that you want to follow the pack. I'm a dude who prides himself on doing things differently. I'm a guy who works tirelessly to not have anybody or any of the people who subscribe to me deal with my shit. I don't make my personal vendettas against people anybody else's problem. If I got something to say to somebody, I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna use you guys as my fucking little hit squad. My subscribers know this. And I don't know, maybe Ian's fans are particularly young. I can't really say. Maybe they're young. Maybe they want to just get brownie points with Ian. Maybe they just want to have a shot at talking to him. Well, let me just tell you something. Something I learned. Something I learned 2 years during the change the channel movement, and even after it was all over. Don't, don't look, don't, don't freaking meet your heroes. They disappoint. They fucking disappoint. Whether you know that or not, let me just tell you. Trust me, I found out that little lesson the hard way and kept relearning it because no one from Channel Awesome is a fucking saint, and I've made peace with that. I'm never gonna really like the Nostalgia Craig for what he did, but you ain't gonna see me defend his ass. You all should look at this. You all should look at this and may not take it as fact if you don't want to. I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying you gotta let people like me, Lance, and Alex say our fucking piece. whether y'all like it or not. Okay? Because all this attacking us is not going to do anything. All it's doing is just making our point more known. Saying that he can't take criticism and you guys have to be his fucking hit squad every time. That this man can't even handle a few people who are relatively not big in the Sonic community, and it's because he feels threatened. Like he blocked Alex. Yeah, sure. Alex keeps tagging him and stuff. He keeps on like going Ian Flynn, fire Ian Flynn and shit. But he's an adult. He don't have to listen to Alex, me, or Lance. He can just ignore us. But the fact that he gives an iota of a shit of what we're saying, that proves that he doesn't have thick skin. That any of us can easily talk shit, and she's just like, "Oh, you guys," and he sends you guys off. He sends all you guys off for what reason? To shut us all up. The thing is, guys, I don't want Ian Flint. We should get Ian Flint in the games. We should. Because that's what he really wants. He doesn't really care about the Sonic comics. I can tell you that. Because I think that's what his goal has always been about. He doesn't care about the Freedom Fighters. He doesn't care about the same stuff we all do. He ain't a fellow fan on the level. He's just a dude. He's just a dude biding his time, waiting for Sega to hire him, and he can feel finally complete that he finally gets what he wants. And the thing is, he stepped on all you. He got all you guys to do it for him. That's what I'm saying. And the irony is, y'all probably look at this video and see a guy just being like, "Oh, he's being hard on Mr. Ian Flynn." I'm not being hard on the man, but a guy who really can't take criticism has all you guys do his dirty work. Has all these fans do his fucking dirty work. You guys don't see anything wrong with that. Y'all just will attack we're because you guys think we're hurting him. He's a grown ass man. He can fight his own battles. He doesn't need all you guys to just be like, "Urgh." What y'all need to do is just let this man do his own thing. And this is from somebody who knows and who's seen this shit happen to more people time and time again. And right now, I say no more. No more of this fucking mob mentality. No more of his fucking writing team talking to all of us all crazy because they can't handle the truth. And no more for IDW allowing this kind of shit to go down. That's what I'm trying to say. And you know what? And, and shame on Sega of America. Because guys, there and you want to know what kills me more than anything about this whole situation? There was a chance that the old continuity could have been saved. Because before IDW wanted the rights to Sonic, a little company by the name of Udon wanted it. Because they cared about the old continuity of Sonic. They kept posting stuff about the old Sonic continuity. They love it. But the fact of the matter is, IDW got to it first. Does that mean I will see a Sonic and a My Little Pony crossover? I just want to see that just to see how many of you would cringe, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm trying to say though is if any of you follow this man and believe what he's saying, you're already lost. You're already too far gone. But if any of you are really listening to what I'm saying, talk to me in the comments. Legit, talk to me in the comments. Don't throw me an insult. Don't call me autistic. Literally, talk to me within the comments, like a sensible adult. Be be better than everybody else who would probably shit on me for this, or Lance, or Alex. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We just want good Sonic stories, goddammit. And we want Ian to at least treat all of us with a small ounce of, and I want him to treat you guys with a small modicum of respect, because y'all are the ones that are still paying for his comic books. Y'all reading them. He's treating you guys like his own little hit squad. And the fact that he's so biased against Sally, which really gets me mad, even though basically he made Amy Sally minus the flaws, minus anything that would probably make Amy probably interesting. You want to know, when I was writing, I'm still writing Sonic Freedom Fighters, but the best part of writing Amy is the fact that this Amy is a different Amy. She's not the same. I love Sonic. No, Amy's all about trying to save the world from Robotnik, and really doesn't have time to be flirting with people. She's hot headed, quick to anger, quick to fight, quick to fight with anybody. But when it really comes down to it, my version of Amy cares, because that is an element of Amy that is in the Sonic games and in the Sonic comics. Not a crazed stalker of Sonic, but a person who wants to do right by the freedom fighters. That you take something. That's the power of a writer. You take something and you try to make it better, or at least make it even make it spectacular. At least try to put something else in it. Ian's too busy trying to make these characters like they are in the games, or Mary suing Mary suing Amy to be this Mary Sue that everybody thought Sally was. But the Amy fans don't care. They fucking love it. The only characters I give the only characters I still give props to are Tangle and Whisper. Whisper because I find her interesting, and Tangle because, well, Tangle's kind of interesting to me. Even though she's a lesbian lemur, like everybody kind of looks at that as a detraction, but I'm like, boys, y'all know people are gonna make Sonic porn with like Blaze and Tangled. I'm just saying. If anything, this just fuels people's fucking shipping fixes. So I ain't really mad about that. It's gonna happen regardless. But what I'm not okay with is the fact that Ian is just abusing his power and abusing his kind of fan relationship with you guys. For y'all to be his little hit squad. He doesn't have to fight us. He doesn't have to say nothing to us. He can just send you guys to do his dirty work. And some of you don't find anything wrong with that. All I'm saying. All I'm saying.
But to give you a basic rundown, Sega of Japan wants everything to be game centric. That's pretty obvious, and they are heavily focused on nostalgia. But why is that? Well, it has a lot to do with the reboot. For some bizarre reason, Sega came to the conclusion that the reboot was more successful than the pre reboot, even though the reboot was the shortest lived run of the comic. Because of this, they took the games into a direction of being more heavily reliant on nostalgia, much like the reboot, and of course being much more watered down. This is also why they will not use the Freedom Fighters. They see no reason to use the Freedom Fighters because they really don't like the versions of the Freedom Fighters that were featured in the reboot. They seem to like the old incarnations of the characters. It also gets weirder because in Sega's mind, the Freedom Fighters remind people of Ken Penders, and they want to distance themselves as much from Ken Penders' stuff as possible because they think that that's what's going to be.
And let me just say something. When I think of the Freedom Fighters, I don't think of Ken Panders. Okay, when I think of Knuckles' heritage, I think Ken Panders. But when I think of the Freedom Fighters, you don't want to know what I think? I think of a group trying to stop Robotnik. I think of fans like me who want to keep their memory alive. I think of folks who really love these characters. Love them. Absolutely fucking love them. But none of us really, and I know Sega ain't listening to me. Trust me, I know they ain't. But if they were, see, remember the Freedom Fighters do not remind us of Penders. It reminds me of all the good stuff that came out of the Freedom Fighters being the way that they were. Whether Sega acknowledges that or not, I know why I like the Freedom Fighters. You know why you like the Freedom Fighters. All of us guys who like the pre-reboot knows why we like the Freedom Fighters. Y'all know. I know. Everybody knows. Even if Sega doesn't. Again, all of us have our own reasons. Clickety
Piss off the
click.
fans, which doesn't make any sense when you realize people were asking for those characters back. And at some point, Richard basically ends off by saying that if the movie does good, then Sega will probably go back to doing something creative again. Because as it stands right now, Sonic is in the gutter. The franchise is at an even worse point than it's been in years. While Forces tried to do some things new, it still was bogged down by nostalgia and a lot of other problems. And it means that we'll never see anything as remotely creative as Adventure 1, 2, or anything from the 2000s or classic era ever again. And that's primarily because Ian Flynn has basically turned this franchise into a direction that's going to kill it. And Hedgefox would later contact Rafa Knight, and Hedgefox would later leak these conversations.
Damn, Alex, you didn't tell me anything about this. You could you could have told me this, man. I'm just saying. It's not like I would have said anything, but it would have been good to know this. Fuck, man, I was going in blind. I was going in blind last night. A little bit of heads
Now,
up, man.
this does reveal a lot. Now, Hedgefox asks her a question, talking about the mandates, and she gives an example of what a Sega mandate is versus what a Flynn mandate is. And she says outright that the mandates that are found on forums are actually things that are made by Flynn. These mandates were.
And guess what, folks? I'm angry again. And let me just say this. Ian, as one fan to another, you could have been honest. You could have been honest to why you don't do any to talk about this. Sure, we all like the Freedom Fighters, but if you were just honest and just said, "Hey, I don't want to do any stories with them." Sure, a lot of us would have hated you for it, but dude, you would have been honest. But you had to be backpedaling and be like, "Oh yeah, there's still a chance that they'll be in." No, you had to be dishonest and fucking leading the fans on like a dude, like a dude that's trying to get with a hot chick during prom night only to be turned down. Trust me, I think I know some pals of mine that have been in that way, and I'm sorry, my old friends, if I had to mention it, but it's kind of the same in a way. Same kind of logic, kind of applies.
Created to make sure that things didn't go crazy without Flynn's consent. Afterwards, Hedgehog starts complaining. And while he is complaining, Rafa Knight goes into detail about how, well, you might like Evan Stanley's work, or you might like the work of the people who did the spinoff, but it all goes back to Flynn. And I have no doubt in my mind that Flynn still approves the stories. Of course, Hedgefox initially doesn't believe it, but she keeps on telling him that no matter what stories you liked, Flynn had the final say. She does state that Sega has given them complete creative freedom while writing the book. She does not, however, state that Ian Flynn was given control over the book, so to me, it just comes off as him basically exerting full control over the book. But on the bright side, Rob and I does confirm that Sally Acorn is owned by Sega, and that there are no legal problems with getting her into the book. It's just that Flynn really doesn't want to, and in her eyes, they don't need to be in the book because it would be bad for new time readers.
Reinvent them. Reinvent them. That's on. I gotta be careful, guys. My blood pressure, but ooh, as a writer, this just it makes me so angry. But I'm gonna let this play, and I'm gonna try and calm down. So let us begin. Let us finish what we started. All right. Oh yeah. Thanks. Anyways, guys, sorry I had to say thanks to a certain someone for letting me use their phone charger. Now let's get to it.
Which means the mandates that people were complaining about for years that were imposed upon Archie and IDW after the whole Ken Penders lawsuit never actually existed. They were a creation of Ian Flynn. It's not only that, but it also shows that Flynn had a vice-like grip over the comics. Because
This
everything went
whole
through him.
this whole time. And yeah, you better believe I'm angry. You better believe I'm mad. You better believe, I'm angry. I'm like holding myself back because the stuff I really want to say would probably would probably be very incriminating. But I'm holding back because that's what I do. I hold back not because it'd be easier for me to just go off. I'm holding back because I know if I'll say something I can't take back. I know. I got a little, got a little, I got a little bit of my dad, a little bit of my mom. And trust me, my parents used to go off, they'd go off, and I am the exact same way. But I'm pulling back.
Everyone had to follow his rules whether they liked it or not. But it also means that at some point during Archie's run, Flynn got full control over the comic and turned it into his pet project. Which means every single problem people have had with the comic.
I didn't hate the Fiona thing. I'm sorry. I kind of did, but then it sort of made sense, because again, some chicks like the bad boys. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. We all know that from real life. We all know. I got passed over from a dude that had way more tattoos. True story.
Since Archie has been due to Ian Flynn's influence. And to give an example of just how much power Flynn has over the comic, let's say you joined AEW as a writer, and you had this epic idea. Let's say this epic idea is where Sonic learns about his past. And throughout his journey, Eggman tries to stop him because this could potentially destroy the Eggman Empire. And so Sonic develops as a character and learns more and more about himself and becomes a better person at the end. And you know the fan base is going to love this story. But Ian Flynn will say,
And I'm like, I want that to happen. I want us to know more about Sonic in the games. I want us to know more about Eggman. I want us to know. It's been it's been it's been many years, folks, and I feel like it's time. I feel like we're ready to know Sonic's origins. And the fact that Flynn has vice-like grip. It it upsets me. More than anything else, it upsets me. I'm gonna keep going.
To a set, and then Sonic
Ah!
but she fails, gets arrested, and then Sonic comes out as gay for Tails. Of course, I really don't think you would ever write it.
I wouldn't want that for a lot of different reasons, but Amy going to jail though. Oh, guys, back in the day when I wanted to make a Sonic comedy show, oh yeah, that was one of the things. Not Sonic going gay. That was not Sonic going gay. That is Mr. Jerkoff's whole thing. But me, yeah, I had an idea where Amy actually, goes to jail for stalking on Sonic because the police never really paid attention because Amy was so cute and adorable and nice, and then like we see her like darker side, and Amy spends like 6 months in prison. Sonic doesn't go like, oh, I miss Amy. No, he just goes like, good riddance. He goes about his merry way.
A storyline like that, but I think you get the point. Ian Flynn has way too much control over the comics. If Sega will let him do whatever he wants, then he'll do it. But he doesn't want anyone else to have that same kind of creative freedom. So he enforced mandates on all the writers. But of course, he took the comics in a direction that nobody wanted. Nobody wanted the comics to be exactly like the games. Nobody wanted.
We had a perfectly good Werehog story in the Archie comic books already. We had good adaptations of the comic book of the games in the comics already. We didn't need any of this. But no, Flynn had to freaking stretch his muscles. You know what I really wanted to see? I wanted to see what they would do original after all these stories that got ripped from the games. But we never got to see that because, stuff declined. And money talks. I mean, I'm not saying Ian tried to sabotage the comic, but, it makes you think.
To just retell the same stories they had already seen in the games. Nobody wanted the comics.
Ian knows what we want. He does. He knows. He fucking knows what we want. He's not unaware. He's not stupid. He knows. He just doesn't want to.
To be this boring. People wanted to see character development. And Ian didn't. So when people complained about the reboot, he leaked his own mandates and blamed them on Sega so people would go after Sega. That's why, so far, no form of media, aside from the comics, has ever had these mandates enforced upon them. And I'd like to remind you all, this is still happening.
Jesse Pajamas. Let's just say, man, I heard some stuff about Jesse, but I'm not the kind of dude that needs to be talking about any of that.
As recently as 2019, when Flynn was getting praise for the comic, someone asked Flynn, Mr. Flynn, why is Sega keeping a tight leash on what can or can't happen in IDW Sonic? And Flynn's response is, they are not. And yet, later, the moment he turns Shadow into an idiot just so he can have Shadow get roboticized, he says the following.
What was your reaction after seeing the criticism and thoughts of the fans after Sonic IDW issue number 19?
They're not completely wrong. Kind of amused with the discourse that came out of it because Shadow doesn't act like that. He acts like this. No, he doesn't. He acts like this. No, he doesn't. He acts like this. In this game, he clearly acts like this. Yeah, well, in this game, he clearly...
No. Shadow. We all know that Shadow acts like what he acts like. He would have been saving people instead of himself getting God. He's the ultimate life form, and you can't tell me it never occurred to him to take off his inhibitor rings. If an actual writer of actual, if a writer that wasn't Flynn, who really didn't like Sonic, they would have remembered that and used that. At least Make it so Shadow actually had a fighting chance and then went down. Because it would have been more impactful that Shadow did everything that he could, but it wouldn't have been enough. That's why we're all like, oh, Shadow could have done this, that, and the third. Because that's what we think. And Ian just wants to do it his way. Because the man has full control. He's like that. It's like he's got an infinity gauntlet made out of chaos emeralds, and all he did was snap his fingers. We're in the snap. We're in the snap. We're in the metaphorical snap, and I don't like it.
Clearly acts like this.
I don't like it
It's
one
almost like
bit.
he hasn't had a really consistent characterization since his inception. I wish
He kinda did in 06. I ain't even gonna. I'm gonna keep going.
Freedom Fighters in the book, or that Sega forced him to ruin Shadow, or that the stories aren't as interesting because Sega is forcing him to water it down. It's all a lie. So Flynn could add the Freedom Fighters whenever he wanted to into IDW. He could end the Zombot arc right here and now. And he could give the stories more depth.
And he could, but he doesn't want to.
But he doesn't want to. So he had a heavy hand in killing the comics and making the fan base the toxic cesspit it is today. And there's even a possibility he's already written for the games, starting with the Slime Forces beta script. You know,
No. Lance, please tell me it's not true. Please tell me that's not true.
That Sega scrapped it and had to bring in Pontap to fix it. Yeah, that beta script. I mean, it's certainly written like how Ian Flynn would write a script. And according to Ian Flynn's portfolio, it says he wrote for Slime Forces, not the prequel comics. We're talking Forces specifically. And even if he didn't write for Forces, even if he didn't write that awful beta script, he still shouldn't be writing for the games. He keeps blaming Sega and using his fan base to
and basically he's throwing Sega under the bus. Do you think they really want someone that constantly throws him under the bus? You know, they only probably keep Flynn around because y'all love him. And they know if they do something about it, they're gonna, if he knows, they know if they do something about it, y'all, like, all the Flynn fans would fucking rise like fucking Lazarus and be ready to fucking fight. Or like a goddamn Hydra. Y'all know how I feel about Hydras. Let's not, I don't even know why I went with it, but I did.
Shut up his critics. He hasn't improved. In fact, a lot of the problems people have with the game so far, such as over-reliance on memes, flanderizing characters, heavy use of nostalgia to appeal to older fans, and not doing anything interesting with the plot, well, all that stuff is found in Ian Flynn's books, especially in IDW. In fact, if anything, IDW cramps that crap up to 11. But of course...
Because he can do whatever he wants now. There's nothing holding him back anymore.
Someone had to leave these band-aids before this video came out. Now, in spite of the fact that these have absolutely nothing to do with what Rafa was talking about or what Aaron Rowe was talking about, it also supposedly exposes that Rafa Knight was lying about the mandates and that Flynn was right the entire time. And of course, you have Ian Flynn here to back it up. So it must be true then. So I guess I've lost, except for the fact that this creates a catch-22. Now let's ignore the evidence we have so far, ignore the fact that Rafa leaked these mandates to Hedgefox in hopes of him liking Ian Flynn, and why they were originally taken down to begin with.
And let's think about that, guys. This person literally took mandates that shouldn't have been seen by anybody, but is well known by a lot of people, but didn't need to be seen officially. I mean, if Sega knew, if the mandates were real, I think someone would be in a lot of hot water and their jobs would be taken down. Their jobs would be forfeit. But hey, and oh yeah, Aaron Weber, any of you guys from the social media thing want to laugh? Ew. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Y'all next. See, I thought not being the fanbrat basher was a good thing. But nah, y'all done brought this. you guys brought the Bastard back for a lot of different reasons. And trust me, I'm not. And trust me, the Sonic World Tour don't end with this video. Oh no, it doesn't. Let me just say, prepare, because I ain't done. I may also be known as the fan night, but that's only when I'm being positive about actual stuff. Sometimes I gotta be negative. Hell, I guess that's the whole reason I made negative to begin with. I'm not a negative person, but I know I have negative aspects about myself. But even still, I gotta be negative. I gotta be negative. I gotta be, well, I gotta be old school fanbrat basher if I need to do this. And trust me, kids, and I mean kids of the 20-year-old to 30-year-old demographic, I gotta be me. I just gotta do it in a different way, but I still gotta be me. So here we go.
Let's ignore all of this for a few minutes. If Ian Flynn is telling the truth about Rafa, then what that means is that he leaked a bunch of mandates that were not supposed to be made public.
Yes.
Which in turn ruined Sega's reputation and
yes.
cost Sega lots of customers.
Yes.
And if Rafa Knight is to be believed and Ian Flynn is lying about the mandates, then that means that he created a bunch of fake mandates to strangle the comic creatively, which drove away customers and ruined Sega's reputation by blending it on them. And that made them look incompetent. So either way, Flynn is a complete liability to Sega. They have no reason to keep him around. So all of those Flynn for Sonic shills that came from the forums and beyond, who parrot Flynn's narrative, shit on Archie for being written like a comic book and not a game, and then praise IDW as if it's the second coming of Christ, and that it's the direction that modern comic books should be going in, while making all these shitty Ken Penders jokes that stopped being funny back in 2013. And considering how little integrity a lot of these people act.
And don't even get me started on Trailer Drake. We beer. Fuck, I'm sounding like Jane for a minute. I almost said hoo. God damn, Homestuck will never leave my DNA, but I don't mind it. I'm not even gonna say nothing about Trailer Drake. Because I don't want to be the guy who... I don't want to be the one that people blame for picking on him. I'm not gonna do it.
Actually have.
But I got issues with that dude, but I'm not really gonna do it. Not really gonna raise that dust storm up. Oh no.
And the fact that a lot of them don't even read comic books. Why are this
especially None of the Wind? Boys, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I've started reading comics during all the reruns on Fox Kids when it came to the X-Men, because I wanted to know more about the X-Men. And from there, I started reading The Tick, to Spider-Man, to Batman, to Superman, and I always loved comics. Even though when I was in school, I was getting pushed away from comics. But comics were always a part of me. To a lot of other people, comics are too hard to follow. I can't do anything. I can't pick a storyline. Me, I'm like, oh, I'm doing it as it comes, boys and girls. And I mean the older gentlemen. I don't mean actual boys and girls, because no kid should be watching my videos. No one. No kid. At all.
These posers. They keep calling us immature for criticizing IDW and trying to shame us into submission so they can...
Y'all motherfuckers can't shame me! Y'all motherfuckers can't shame me! I have no shame, folks. I lost that a long time ago. No shame wizard for this motherfucker. Because this motherfucker still... Y'all can say whatever you want, but We have our reasons for not liking Flynn. We have our own reasons for criticizing IDW, whether y'all like it or not. So, but you're probably wondering, Bugsy, do you really mean what you said about, oh, I heard the social team has been doing very interesting things. So... oh, I won't be done. This video will be done. But we'll come back to this at a later
And push
date.
Flynn for Sonic and talk about how awesome IDW is.
Because let me tell you, folks, the fanbrat basher, I'm back. I'm back as being the fanbrat basher. Because Ian Flynn showed me that dudes like him will always exist. And people like me, even with my various, blood pressure handicap, I gotta keep fighting. Just gotta do it differently. So, I ended off here.
Flynn can no longer keep using Sega as a scapegoat, even for things that happen in the Mega Man comic, which, yes, actually happened.
What?
And we cannot keep getting silenced, or else this franchise will die. So I think it's about time that we as fans put a wrench in that hole and actually start speaking up. Because I'm hoping that with this video, more people will talk out against IDW publicly, and more people will actually call out the kind of abuse that's been caused by Flynn's fan base. And at some point, I'm hoping that somebody, anybody at Sega, will hear this and do something about this, because this has gone on for long enough, and it needs to stop. And if IDW does get canceled, then it's not like it's the end of the world for Sonic the Hedgehog comics. There are certainly other publishers. I mean, Udon has none of the problems that IDW has, and the people there seem to be fans of Sonic in general and not just the games, or at least a very biased, twisted version of the games, like an IDW. And they did try to seek the license before IDW did, although granted IDW got it first. So if IDW is canceled, then we should push for Udon. I think it'd be better for the franchise in the long run, too. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, subscribe, and
subscribe to Lance Jerkoff, everybody. Subscribe to Lance Jerkoff and anybody who talks about IDW. Because there are things that need to be heard, and things that need to be told, my friends. And to every other freaking YouTuber, like Nyla Wind and Trailer Drake, don't worry, I'm not coming for you guys. Y'all ain't the people I want to go for anyway. There are bigger fish to fry. Guys, remember, when there's idiots, I'll be there. When there are people, when there's elitist trash messing with the fandom, I'll be there. When there are writers acting like Ian Flynn, I'll be there. When there are people who just want a good story of something, and the writers want to be dickholes about it, I'll be there. Because you can probably try to get rid of me. Sure, you could. But the reason I do these videos is not for some, I hate these motherfuckers. No. If they done something wrong, I am going to call them out on it. If no one else wants to, and like Lance and Alex are the only ones, nah. I was calling people out on their bullshit far longer. And it's time I return back to that, which I started so many years ago. Either way, I'm starting off this decade being the one thing I said I would never be again. But I felt this time, it's going to be different. Peace.